The word scam might be taking this a little bit far, but in my opinion, this is the next closest thing. Hey guys, Ben here. I found this watch brand called No Label Watch on Instagram, and straight away I could tell something was off. These watch designs that I was seeing in the pictures, I'd seen all of them before. Literally every single one. And I thought, you know what? Let's delve a little deeper and have a look at their website, see if I can understand what's going on and why I recognise them. It turns out this brand have come up with a marketing masterstroke that makes MVMT look like novices. This brand's Our Story page is quite interesting because they explain how their approach is different to all of the brands who claim to be inspired by the Himalayas or the Industrial Revolution or some other nonsense. And they tell us how they're fed up of these watch brands that squeeze their logos onto their watches and that you don't need to express yourself with a label, hence the brand name in that. That's why they came up with this whole brand who make watches with no label on. Or should I say, feature watches without logos. Indeed, they aren't making anything whatsoever. You know how I know that? It's this little website called AliExpress. The reason that this brand doesn't have logos on their watches might be because they don't like logos, but it's also because they're just dropshipping generic Chinese watches. A quick search on AliExpress reveals every single one of these designs on the first couple of pages. The specifications line up perfectly, even the pictures do. The reason that their product images have such an inconsistent look about them is just because they're pulled straight from AliExpress. And these items are from different wholesale sellers, and that's why the pictures and the shadows look a bit different. If you're not familiar with this whole dropshipping business model and why I think it's really like anti-consumer, let's explain it. Essentially, a brand like this no-label watch company will just advertise these watches as their own on their website for whatever price they deem fit. When someone buys a product on their store, it's actually the supplier, say AliExpress, that fulfills the order and then posts it directly to the customer. That's the reason that these watches have got no logo on, because they haven't agreed to like any private labeling agreement or anything. They're just bare, like naked watches. This no-label watch brand is kind of like a middleman in this situation. And they're making money because they're charging 70, 80 odd quid, however much they're charging for these watches that they can buy for about £3 a piece, depending on the model, some are a bit more. It's almost like they're making this huge commission on a sale that they really don't have that much to do with at all. This dropshipping business model is the actual reason the watches have got no logos on. This is why there is no fancy packaging. This is why they always have international shipping, because they're not targeting the Chinese domestic market where they're actually made. This is why they can offer watches for what they claim to be fair prices, because they have virtually no costs to speak of. This brand even has the cheek to claim that they strive to eliminate middlemen and other unnecessary costs, despite the fact that they are quite literally the middleman. You can buy the exact same watches directly for a fraction of the cost from sites like AliExpress. When it comes to that unnecessary cost section, I'd say if you're buying a watch from a brand like this, then 90% of what they're charging is unnecessary cost. Now, it is true, yes, that lots of general products that, like day-to-day products that you buy these days, are from China. It's normal, really, in the 21st century. However, most retailers have products that are specifically made for their requirements and for their customers. In this situation with watches like this, these are just completely generic watches that are marked up for zero reason, that anyone can go and just buy themselves directly. But maybe this is just all a coincidence. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this brand really is designing and making these watches themselves. And by complete chance, their watches look exactly the same as these watches on AliExpress. They've got exactly the same specifications. They've got exactly the same images as on AliExpress, despite the fact that I've been seeing, these watch designs for probably about 5 or 6 years at least. They're very welcome to prove me wrong, but personally, I look at the review section and just, I look at all those people who think they've got, like a great value watch, and I think, you could have got that exact same watch for like 5% of the cost that you paid for it. Nevertheless, it is to be said that at least with this brand, you're not spending as much for these, generic watches as I've seen other brands selling them for. There definitely are other brands doing much worse, and they're selling them for even like double or triple this retail price. However, I just find it hilarious how they found this real value proposition from having no unique selling point. Maybe it's genius. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. Is this Einstein level stuff here? I kind of wish I'd thought of this before myself. Anyway, subscribe for more watch rants. I'll see you in the next one.